Hello, this is Mason. Um, I listened to your podcast on loneliness, and I just wanted to say that I really appreciate you being so forthright uh, about how you feel. It's something that I experienced myself. Um, Actually, kind of caused me to leave my home and go to far away to work in a field hospital in Gaza, just to try to find a place more where I fit in and can be used and may meet new people and just be a part of something. And so I know it's hard when you don't maybe grow up the way other people do to find that place in a group of friends. I appreciate that you expressed that in your podcast, just so candidly. And it's my hope and prayer that you will find those people that make those fulfilling relationships, and that I will too. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to either chapter 10 or 25 of The Last Thoughts of a Busy Mind. Yes, actually, we'll get into that today. And what you've heard was finally a voice message that was sent to me on Anchor by Mason. And thank you so much for, first of all, taking the time to listen to me and then sending a message. And I can tell you how glad I am that what I do here on every Friday might have had a positive, sort of positive um, impact on you. Thank you. It was in regards to the loneliness chapter, which was chapter 8 or 23. And uh, it's making me smile uncontrollably. And thank you so much. And yes, thank you again for your nice wishes. And yes, I understand. And I hope that the feeling is mutual. I hope that you also uh, get to feel that fulfillment. And again, I my grandfather was also a doctor, and so I understand the problems of working in a hospital. And for that, I sort of thank you in a general sense for doing that. I know it's a selfless job and a thankless job, and well, go strong. Thank you again for listening to me, and thank you for your kind words. I don't know how I can. I hope that I am worthy of them, and thank you again. So, aside from that very nice message, today, honestly, I had another plan, but plans change, and they gave me anxiety when they change. So I thought about, let's talk about that. Um, I do have two known disorders that I am aware of because I'll get into that. OCD and GAD, because a couple of years ago, due to some weird stuff that I'm not going to get into, I went to a psychoanalyst. Uh, she primarily worked with teenagers, but well, I have the mental development of a teenager. So I went there, and she diagnosed me with GAD and OCD. So OCD I sort of knew because it's one of those things that you pick up on. You pick up on it when you are organizing your movies folder and you spend an hour trying to figure out, well, if the day in um, The Spy Who Shagged Me is after the word Austin Powers, does the T need to be capitalized or not? The answer is not, because there is a colon, even though the folder cannot take a colon. So you capitalize the T, so it become Austin Powers, the spy who shagged me. And I knew that sort of, but GAD really caught me off guard. I didn't know I had that. But it's one of those things that after you've been told, you realize, ah, yes, I do have that. The reason I'm bringing this up is a couple of things. First of all, I do have another podcast. I think I've talked about it. It's called YASP. It's short for Yet Another Shitty Podcast. It's me and my friend Ami Reza. And today, actually, as I'm recording this, I've already edited the footage, and that is why I am trying to pronounce stuff more clearly. Because as I was editing my voice, I realized I mumble a lot and it bothered me. And I do have that podcast. It's edited and it's I like it. I really like it. I like him. I really like Man of La Mancha. Great musical, by the way. And in the process of my OCD taking place, I bugged Amir Reza immensely to listen to the podcast because I want to upload it as soon as possible. And it bothers me when I don't do that because I feel weird to say the least. And so I get caught up in the whole logical loop in a way, you know? You need to do this. Why? Because it makes you feel better. But the only way it makes me feel better is because you're telling me I need to do this. And it gets tangled. And again, my OCD is very mild. I mean, it's very mild. It doesn't destroy my life or distort my life in any way. But it does make things a tiny bit more annoying than they need to be in how I go on. For example, my room is usually a mess because I know when I decide to clean it and organize it, I need to go all out. I bring out everything and I reorganize everything. So my clothes, after they are washed, usually sit on the chair. But last night I took like an hour and folded them neatly and put them in the drawer because. Oh, I forgot to mention my drink. Today I'm having orange syrup and water, which is actually kind of good. It's been in the fridge and it's really cold and refreshing. I'm actually going to take a sip. Now that's the practical part of them that gets in the way. There are mental ones, and what I mean by that is my brain gets an idea, a stupid idea, you might say, but for most people, that stupid idea comes and goes. My mind cannot let go of it, it obsesses over it. Why did this guy say this to me? Why did this random exchange with someone on Reddit make me feel bad? And most people just move past it. I can't. I obsess over it. My brain just thinks it over, overthinks it, and then it sort of hands it over to the other side. It hands it over to the GAD, to the anxiety. And I get anxious. And I get more anxious. And then I get super anxious. And then all of the things that usually shouldn't even enter in this conversation enter. I have a bad experience with someone on Reddit. They say something and I disagree. For example, about Helsing, the anime. I'm saying it because I don't actually join a lot of subreddits. The main ones are that I constantly see on Reddit are Doctor Humor, musicals, westerns, movies, and Helsing. Let's say I have a bad experience with someone on there, and I obsess over it. What should I have said? I didn't want to hurt them, so what should I have done? What happened? Why it happened? Is she being irresponsible? Is he being unreasonable? Was I being too harsh? All of that. It becomes an hour long process of overthinking, and then comes the anxiety. Why did I do that? Is something wrong with me? Am I inherently bad at communicating? Which I am. I mean, let's let's not beat around the bush here. I am, but uh, then everything else. It feeds everything. Well, if I'm bad at communicating, I'm going to die alone. Again, loneliness. Then, oh, but then when I realize I want to die alone, I don't want to die alone, and I might die alone, I get angry, and then I get anxious because whenever I get angry, I hate who I become. And then my movie comes in. I say, "Well, what are you going to do about me?" I say, "I'm going to go see a location today. Don't stay out of it." No, no, no. You will never become a director. Okay, you'll die alone. You'll become this mess. Then comes the stupid ones. Why did you not do this thing while you were playing Civilization 5? And that gives me anxiety. It sort of feeds itself like a web of anxiousness. And before you know it, it's like 4 in the morning and I can't sleep because I am thinking about why the hell did I not help, I don't know, Boudica in Civilization 5 when she asked me for some gold. And then comes the other one. Am I sexist? If it was Bismarck who asked me for gold, would I have given it? No, I wouldn't, because Boudica was there and she bullied one of the city estates that I was protecting. So if Bismarck had done that, I wouldn't have done that, but Bismarck didn't do that. Bismarck. So you see, and then add to that what Mason actually um, touched upon in his message. You grow up feeling alone and disconnected from the world, and in your mind you create this world, and suddenly you don't fit in it anymore because there is this action, this, and you know why you did that action, and you know why you are doing that action, but the world that sees it doesn't care why you did it, it just sees the action. So again, as I'm talking about it, it's making me anxious. I'm anxious about when I am recording this. Last week I recorded it very late, around I think it was 8 p.m. I know I published it around 10, so, and I was anxious the whole time because okay, I am I'm going to do it late, and then it's going to be like over 12, and it's going to be on Saturday, and it will break the chain, and the end result is nobody gives a shit. Why do I care? At the end of the day, I'm the one that cares about this and keeping a schedule. Nobody does. The same thing with YASP. I keep pushing Amireza to, we need to do this, and we need to do this, and we need to do a post on Instagram at around 7 p.m. But then, what if we are doing something else on 7 p.m.? What if we're doing this and that? And at the end of the day, nobody cares but me. Or me and Amir. Amir also has a bit of OCD. But nobody cares. It's just mental limitations that I keep putting on myself, which to satisfy my disorder. Now, usually, you would take pills. Let me not start on pills because it's it's not good. I don't like pills. I don't like chemical medicine of any kind unless I have to take it. Like I have a big headache, and so I refuse to take pills for mental problems because I think I can beat this. Truth is, I probably won't, but my brain thinks I can beat this. What if you take the drugs and then you become dependent and you become an addict and then you never become a director and you die alone and everything is meaningless? So, yeah, that's why I wanted to do this episode. And that's why I've been dragging this whole chapter thing. Again, 5 more episodes. I will decide on a format that will dictate the rest of the podcast. I don't like calling it a podcast. I don't know why. So yeah, uh, that's a glimpse of how my brain works. And now imagine that in a social situation, I can't even deal with it when I'm talking to Boudica, even though I'm sure I'm mispronouncing her name. She's a Celt. She's from the Celtic faction, and she's a fictional character in a video game, an old video game, good one, but an old one, and not very well defined either. None of them are. I mean, Gandhi is, but that's because of the nukes. That's a joke for my fellow Civilization players. But, you know, I get so obsessed over that. Can you imagine that level of obsession and anxiety in a social relationship where things are unpredictable and they are not as they seem, and I usually don't pick up on signals? I've made a lot of people hate me, and I had no fucking idea I was making them hate me. I annoy people. I even annoy them by asking, am I annoying you? So, yeah, it's an ailment. It's a disorder. It's in the name. And it's one of the things I need to work on. I need to go back to the psychoanalyst. I'm actually waiting to make my movie and then do a lot of self improvement stuff. I'm hoping that by then we at least have one episode left so I can talk about my plans for that too. But if not, there is always the next season. Speaking of seasons, again, I if you want to check on Yasp, you can find if you are listening to this on YouTube. If you go to the featured channels part on the main page, you can find it. If you are listening to it on Anchor or any other platform, I'm saying this too because Anchor usually does distribution, so I know I'm uploading it to Anchor and onto YouTube separately. So these are the two I know. But if you are listening to this on Anchor, you can search for it YASP, YASP exclamation point. It has a it's yet another shitty podcast. And next episode, which is coming out today in around 12 hours, I think, is going to be about Star Trek Lower Decks. So you can see it from that. If not, if you are listening to this much sooner than that, you will probably find it. The last episode we did was the Console Wars, which is season 2, episode 1, Console Wars. So yeah, let's see. Do check it out if you're listening. But I'm pretty sure that actually has a lot more listeners than this does. So yeah. I actually wanted to talk about something else this week. I wanted to talk about sexuality. But then things changed because I was supposed to go out and scout a location yesterday, but we are doing it today, so things got moved around, and I haven't had the time to think properly about what I'm going to say. So we are not doing sexuality this week. We might do it next week. Who knows? Even although I'm pretty sure by next week something big will happen. This week we lost Larry King, by the way. Rest in peace, Larry King. And actually, it works with my loneliness because he was scared of dying too. So thanks again. Thank you, Mason, if you're listening to this, for sending me a message. And thanks everyone who is listening to me talk on the internet. And I hope that there is some value in this. And I'm going to go quench my OCD and write some stuff. I hope to see you next week. Do send me a message on Anchor. Like Mason, I will play it at the beginning of the episode.